our agents working really hard to put the criminals in jail, those who are causing these overdose deaths, these poisonings. We really need the district attorney's office to get it across the finish line for us to prosecute the cases. And that's what we have right now in Harris County. The district attorney office and us, law enforcement, are working shoulder to shoulder to make this happen. These cases can't happen without the state and federal cooperation. We have HPD in Harris County and a new overdose task force that we started last year. The group has been extremely successful. Right now we're working on approximately 15 cases with the youngest, a 14-year-old that overdosed. They're working this investigation right now, again, to get it across the finish line. And we can't do that without the Harris County District Attorney's Office. And they're really working closely with us to make this happen. Look, fentanyl right now continues to be the biggest threat in our country. It's causing overdose and poisonings at an alarming rate. Right now, 70% of the pills that are on the street can cause an overdose, can cause a death. So if you take a pill, a counterfeit pill, a fake pill off the street, you have a 70% chance of dying. Right now, seizures are up from 2022 to this year. We are seizing more fentanyl than we did last year. Look, right now, the Houston office has seized over 1 million lethal doses of fentanyl. Over 1 million. That means 1 million of our Houstonians could die if they take these pills. When we came together on this overdose task force, we knew what we were trying to do. We were trying to get from the lowest dealer all the way to the source of supply on who's causing these deaths, who's selling these pills. Oftentimes, you have individuals think they're taking an Adderall to study longer for an exam possibly. Instead, they get a pill that's laced with fentanyl and they die immediately. We need to see those who are selling those pills brought to justice. And that's what's happening right now in Houston. They're getting convicted and they're going to get time in jail. Honest Case was part of the task force. Mr. Adam Briggs was the individual who sold this pill to her, who caused her death, and he will pay for it. His sentencing is coming up. It's going to be shortly in the courts, and right now I'm going to hand it over to our district attorney, Kim Ogg, to give you more details about it.
Let me thank Special Agent in Charge Daniel Como for a great partnership. Up here you see members of the prosecution team. Who you don't see are the DEA agents who are investigating these drug overdoses as murders. You know, we had a statute on the books here in Texas that made delivery of drugs causing death a felony. But our legislature, in response to the many fentanyl deaths we're seeing all over Texas, added a new law effective September 1 last year, 2023. And it established a first-degree charge of murder by fentanyl, now punishing it at 5 to life. And we think this is a major drug policy improvement here in Texas. For too long, we've treated addicts and addiction as the crime and the criminals. And they are under Texas law. But drug possession, taking drugs, is not a death penalty offense, and it shouldn't be. And we're seeing people die by the hundreds, even the thousands here in Houston. I want to express our condolences to Honor's family who flew in for this press conference to underscore the importance of this overdose task force and the work that we're doing. And let me tell you, we're seeing results immediately. In addition to the case that was previously mentioned, we've now charged Omarion Bailey with the death of a 16-year-old male. we don't utilize the victim's name out of respect for his family. But this 16-year-old engaged in a drug deal with O'Marion. He was delivered a number of pills, which he thought were Percocet. They contained fentanyl, and he was dead almost as quickly as he ingested the drug. O'Marion, who had been dealing drugs since high school, was found to be the dealer through the usual set of circumstances that the task force DEA and HPD investigators find. The drug deal was well documented on his phone. The dealer, not very hard to find. The evidence replete. There will be a bond hearing February 2nd on Mr. Bailey's case. Also charged under the new statute just since September of 2023, Michael Barnett, a jail inmate accused literally of killing someone in the county jail by trading a pill containing fentanyl to another inmate for some noodles and coffee. So he was in for some lesser crime and is now charged with murder and being held on a $500,000 bond in that case. We thank the legislature for this tool. I want to thank the officers who risk their lives every day. And I want to recognize members of my team. They are led by Ruben Perez, the most experienced prosecutor in my office. Garrett Moore heads up Major Narcotics, which was reinstituted in the DA's office in large part because of the DEA's partnership on this OD task force. We are just thrilled to be part of it because drug prosecution and drug enforcement is relevant when it touches routinely touches people's lives. With 1,200 fentanyl deaths last year or more in Harris County, it's touching a lot of Houstonians. Not all of those dealers will be caught, but I can tell you this task force is on you. And there's a message to dealers in these charges and this new law, and that is the odds have gone up significantly that you will be caught when you deal drugs. And when those drugs kill because they contain poison and you profited off a family's misery, then you'll be held accountable under the new murder statute. We see juries responding well to human trafficking, another area where law enforcement's perspective has changed. We're moving up the chain of criminal accountability. We're holding pimps and traffickers accountable, and juries are giving them big sentences. That's exactly what we expect to see with these drug dealers now charged with fentanyl murder. I also want to thank Maritza Sharma. She is a prosecutor who is dedicated in our treatment court to helping addicts who themselves are arrested, who are likeliest to suffer death accidentally by ingesting fentanyl in one of the many drugs that they can get on the street. And Ms. Sharma oversees a group of prosecutors in a court that is trying to save lives. Punishment is not the object. The goal in that court is to help these people clean up their addictions through court supervision. We're using our system in a smart way. We're going after the people who profit off crime. Juries will respond, and we just want to thank, I want to thank all of these hardworking team members, both the DEA officers in the back. They come from local agencies, the Houston Police Department, Sheriff's Department, and I want to thank our prosecutors. This is a new frontier in prosecution, and the idea that we can now charge drug dealers with the real crimes that they are committing, the crime of murder, when their drug dealing leads to a death, should be not just a warning to them, but a sign of hope for everybody out there who is addicted or for those who love people who are addicted. You got to get a hold of this problem before it kills you. That's the message. Danny?
Now I want to bring up Mr. Barry Wallace to say a few words about his daughter, Honor. Mr. Wallace?
Well, thank you. I just want to thank the DEA, Harris County District Attorney for thinking about Honor and remembering her. It's hard to talk about her death, but I'm going to do the best I can here. Losing a child is the most difficult thing somebody can go through. I'll tell you that right now. And it's been a year and a half since Honor passed away, and I can't say that it's any easier. But even with the strong faith that my wife and I have, and Sherry couldn't be here. She slipped in the ice in New Mexico and cracked her knee and going to be in a cast for 3 months. But I can tell you that she's thankful for what you all are doing and wishes she could be here. But Honor was 25 years old when we lost her. We tried to, keep in touch, and we did that very often. But my wife said, I can't get hold of Honor, and that's not all. That's not a good sign for anybody in your family. And she said, I'm going to go see her. So she headed her way, and so I thought I'd hop in the car and head that way too. And then got the call, and she said, she's gone. She's gone. And she found her body, and I went over there, and we don't talk about it, and so I'm not going to talk to you all about the pain of that, but there's nothing really worse. But about 3 days or so after Honor passed away, and you go through the grief and the hollering at God and sadness and what ifs and why and what I could have done differently. And I said, I got to do something. So I called HPD. I got a hold of a lady, and I guess she could hear the pain in my voice. And I said, I need to talk to the narcotics people or somebody. And they put me on with Detective Ed Lopez. And told him the story, and I thought, well, I'm probably going to have to go somewhere and fill out something or whatever. And he said, where do you live? I said, well, I gave him my address. He said, I'll be there that afternoon. He came to my house, and I told him the story. And I tell you, from that minute on, we came after this guy. And he worked the investigation. He kept me in touch with me as to what was going on. He worked it. He got the guy. And he presented the case to the district attorney, and got a hold of another good one, Laura Beth Jackson. And she worked that case up. And it's interesting seeing the maneuverings of the defense attorney, but she outmaneuvered them. And not long ago, as I think they mentioned, this guy, picture was up there a while ago. I don't even like looking at him. But he finally entered a plea, and I hope he goes to jail. That's the other thing. The DEA, the prosecutor, they sure did their job, and I'm hoping that the judge does the same. And I think things like this are going to make it easier for them to see the impact. I don't want anybody to have to go through what we're going through, and it's not going to be closure. There's no such thing as closure. And even with, it's funny with knowing that we have a faith we're going to see Honor again. A couple of things happen. You're just trying to grab hold of something that gives you some faith and comfort. And 2 days after her, actually the day after her funeral, our neighbors in New Mexico who went back to Santa Fe called me and Sherry and said, get on your iPad. I want to show you something. She said, Honor's talking to you. And in our house, there's this huge double rainbow that went up in the sky, landed on our house, and burst into colors on Honor's room. It was like Honor saying, hey, I'm okay. I want you guys to be okay. And then later on, after she passed, we found a letter she'd written. I think she was like 6th grade or something, and letter to God. And she talked about forgiveness and mercy and salvation and repentance. I mean, Billy Graham would have been proud of that one. And so those things helped. But I'll tell you, in spite of faith and realizing that she's okay, somebody's got his arms around her, and I'm going to see her again. Feelings trump truth in a situation like this. But I tell you, it's comforting to know what you guys are doing now. I mean, this is, I've asked why so much, but it's time for me to ask what. And I appreciate the opportunity just to be here with you all. You know, I get tired of hearing about monkeypox and getting rid of my gas stove, and I think of 200 people a day dying or so. And I was on a plane yesterday with a guy, and we were talking about, you know, if this plane went down, another one went down tomorrow, and the next day, people would be doing something, wouldn't they? They'd be finding out what the heck is going on. And we have all these people dying, and I don't know, across the border, I don't know what's going on, but this is a start. And I hope that the judges will hop on board and help with this thing, because the guys that he needs to go to jail, and people need to know when they're doing this, they're going to be accountability. And like I said, it's not closure, it's not vengeance, it's what's right. And I want people to, you know, defund the police. What the heck is that? You know, I mean, if you don't want to get in handcuffs, do what the police say. I mean, I just don't understand why this is going on. And so many things that we're having to deal with, but people aren't talking about 200 people dying a day in this thing. So I'm just very thankful that we got here in Houston. I mean, this is a start, and I'm going to be optimistic. And I'm asking what, and I don't know what I can do, but I know these people here can do a lot more than I can. But I think what you can do out there, I think parents better be talking to their kids. I talked to this guy on the airplane. He had a 15 and a high school senior, and he was kind of shocked that fentanyl was, you know, as bad as I was telling him. And I said, man, you better start talking to your kids, and people ought to start talking to their kids. And I love sports, but I tell you, instead of sitting around talking football a lot sometimes, you need to talk to your kids and tell them. I got 3 granddaughters that are going to be in college. 2 of them I think are fine. 1 of them I'm a little worried about. And even though she doesn't listen to me, I don't think, but you can't, unless it comes from a prescription from a pharmacy, I don't see how anybody can take a pill anymore. And these kids, you know, it's going to keep on. But I think things like this are going to help. I think that what you all are doing is going to make some people wake up. And anyway, that's what I pray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to support the police. I'm going to support the prosecutors. I'm going to pray for their safety. And I'm hoping that whoever's listening to this will hop on board, because we need to forget about a lot of petty politics and other things, and we need to start figuring out a way to save people in this country, especially our youth. So anyway, I thank you all, and I thank you for showing up, and hope we can get the message out that this fentanyl is a bad thing, and I hope that soon we'll see where that guy's picture that was up there be in jail, because it's tough right now. I look at Honor's picture. My wife's got them all over the place, and every one of them represents a wonderful memory. But when I look at them, I think she's gone. So I'm working hard on trying to think about the positive things when I look at her picture, and I feel a lot better about the future of what's going to be happening in this city, and hopefully in others, because of what you all are doing. And I thank you very much.
With that, I'm going to take a question.
Mr. Walsh, quick question if I may.
Mr. Walsh, you want to stay next to the mic?
First of all, thank you for being here, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're right in my light here. I cannot see you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to lie.
Okay. I mean, I can't see you.
Okay, well, try to step forward a little bit. If you're up for it, can you tell us just a little bit about honoring her personality? Did she, you know, what she did for a living? Did she have a career?
Well, she worked a lot of jobs, but I tell you what a wonderful fun time we had. She was hard-headed. I don't think I won any argument with her, and I was right about 90% of the time. And she loved ice cream, and she loved blizzards at Dairy Queen. And so, we'd do that. So I finally started making blizzards myself with Bluebell ice cream and Reese's peanut butter cups. And, she'd have me make them for her friends and everything. But what she would do, if she got mad at me, she would come up to me and say, Dairy Queen blizzards are much better than yours. But then 30 minutes later, she'd want me to make her a blizzard, and she'd sit on my lap. Also, she had fun being a imaginary brother, Billy. And she loved for me to get after Billy. And so I would get after Billy, and she'd sit over there like, I'm the good one, whatever. And then I bought her a little electric scooter, and we'd get out in the front yard in the street, and we'd have imaginary races with Billy. And I would, signal the winner. And I'd usually signal her as the winner. But if I would ever say Billy won the race, we would have to rerun the race. He cheated or whatever. But she was so much fun. I was telling Ed, one year we went to about 20 different Astro games, and she would sit next to me, put her elbow on my knee, and just tell me what was going on. And she won the hearts of the cookie lady down there, bringing cookies out to us in the seat. And she wouldn't let me leave the game until the game was over. Like Astros were going to come back from 8-0 in the 8th. But those type of memories are just wonderful. So I'm kind of glad you asked me, because I'm feeling a bit better about seeing her picture up there, thinking about the happy times.
One more from you, sir, if I may. You mentioned the importance of parents talking to their kids. What do you think that conversation should look like? What should they say?
I think it should be very, very frank. I mean, so you're living in a time where you got a lot of people that if something happened to you, they wouldn't even come to your funeral. And you can't trust anybody on anything. And maybe they don't even know. But don't leave your drink out. Don't take a pill. If you're going to study in all night and somebody says they've got something to keep you awake, you don't do it. It's like a lot of, like again, kids don't listen. But I used to tell them, well, they got to make the right decision at some point. Well, a lot of decisions should already been made. I probably, if told them, young kids say, hey, let's go rob a bank. Well, they're not going to go rob a bank with you or whatever. So if they can, early on, if somebody offers me something I know is wrong, I don't care if I lose a friend or whatever, make those decisions early on, and don't make the mistake, because there's a lot of pressure, this, social media and everything. It's a different time to raise kids, but I would be very frank with kids if I was parents, and not sugarcoat it and say, if you don't listen to me, you might die.
Any other questions?
Sure.
We understand it's possible the Harris County District Attorney's Office only has 2 prosecutors currently assigned to the Narcotics Division. With the change of the law for the murder statute that would allow a charge concerning a fentanyl overdose, does the DA's office plan to add additional staffing specifically to the Narcotics Division?
As soon as I can get more prosecutors, I intend to add more to this squad. Right now, as you know, we're bare bones at the DA's office. We could use 100 more prosecutors. I will say that Garrett is so dedicated. He has been on this project working to rebuild our major narcotics section for the last 2 years. And I want to thank his assistant, Lori Beth Jackson, for stepping into a tough role. They have a high caseload. We also have a border prosecutor to help prosecute these fentanyl deliveries coming from Mexico. And so many times the chemicals come from China, but sometimes they come from Mexico. We see a lot of ties to the border. So these 2 plus another prosecutor part-time are what we've got now. Soon as I can add more, I will. Here's why. We're going to see more of these. With the rate of death among overdose victims at what it is currently, and with the dedicated staff that Special Agent in Charge KHOU, I, Chief Finner, have dedicated to this, they're going to catch more people, and we're going to charge them with murder, and they are going to go to prison. So I would say that everybody's emphasis in criminal justice right now is on deaths caused to individuals by criminals, whether it's murder, whether it's with a gun, or whether it's with a pill that's been pressed with fentanyl. That's everyone's priority, including the Harris County District Attorney's Office. So we hope to have more prosecutors when we can get funding for them.
And one more, if I may.
Sure.
Do you see any way you maybe could be coordinating with the medical examiner's office to expedite the toxicology testing and likely overdose cases, considering it takes 90 days minimum to get results back?
You know, we are working with both of our labs, the county lab and the city lab, to eliminate the backlogs in their evidence testing. It is the single greatest threat to continued reduction of our criminal case backlog. The delay in toxicology reports and autopsies is affecting our ability to get these cases to court as quickly as we would like. And so we'll continue to urge more funding, more outsourcing where necessary, and greater speed by our labs, especially our medical examiner's office, in these cases. We think they should be prioritized.
When did the task force form, you say, last year?
Yeah, you want to answer that question?
Yeah, we formed it last year. We came up with this, and we knew that it would be successful. Automatically, we said if we put this team together, we collaborate properly, we have extraordinary amount of communication and coordination amongst all of the agencies and the DA's office, it would be successful. And right now, it's clearly successful. This is what we expected, and this is what we're going to continue to do. And I'm going to continue to challenge the DA to take all of these cases and put these criminals in jail. It's so important.
It is.
Follow up on that, I mean, this is such a big problem. How big of a dent in the problem do you think this task force has made, and how much more is there out there? How big is the problem that you see out there?
Look, it's a major problem, but right now, this shows the success. If we get one of them in jail, it's going to send a message to everyone else. Everybody needs to know, if you're selling pills and you're causing death, we're coming after you, and we're going to put you in jail. And it's a clear demonstration what the district attorney's office is going to do. They're going to push it across the finish line like they did in this case.
And I'll tell you, we already have 12 cases of delivery causing death that had been filed by Mr. Moore in our state system prior to the law change. So just since September 1, even with the delay in the autopsy reports and the toxicology, you've already got 2 murders filed. There's more coming.
Any more questions? All right, thank you so much.
We've got a Spanish speaker right here, Ruben.